Assalamualaikum everyone, welcome to another lecture. Welcome to my YouTube channel of Hania Asad, and welcome to another lecture in which we'll again learn something new about science. As you know, we are going through science. So once again today we are going to learn something new about science. We'll learn something new about science, and we'll look at what is new thing that we learn about science. As you know, previously we have done matter and state. So if you don't have watched that video, please go and watch it, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe my YouTube channel, and also press the bell icon so that you get notification of all of my lectures, so you can easily see them and learn about them. If you want to know about any lecture of English or math science, you can comment me on any of my video. I will go through that. So let's start about today's lecture without wasting any of our time. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'an wa rizqan tayyiban wa amalan mutakabbalan. Oh Allah, I ask you for the knowledge which is beneficial and substantial, which is good, and deeds which are acceptable. So as you know, previously we have done about matter and its states. So today again we are going to do something related about matter, and today once again we have a lecture about matter. So matter, anything that has mass and occupies space is called matter. As we know, anything that is mass occupies space basically means having volume, and mass basically means how heavy or light an object is. That means weight. So anything that has weight and that also occupies space is called matter. Anything that has mass and a volume is called matter, or anything that has weight and volume is also called a matter. I told you about the three definitions. States of matter that we discussed, there are three states of matter, which are solids, liquids, and gases. Change of states. So yesterday we learned about states. Now today we learn about the changes of states. How does these states change? First of all, anything is like, if I take an example of an ice cube. First of all, an ice cube is in a solid way, because why? It is freezed. We put it in a freezer, so it's in a form of ice cube. It's ice. Then when we leave it and it get melt, so it becomes a liquid. After that it gets evaporated, it turns from a liquid to gas, it becomes a gas, and then in form of gas is again condensed back to the earth. This is what basically change of gases, or you can say whatever, change of matter, you can say this. Evaporation. What happens in evaporation? In evaporation, a liquid change into a gas. What happens in evaporation? Liquids change into a gas. So in evaporation, liquids change into a gas. Evaporation is the process by which a liquid changes to a gas or a vapors. Here in water, how water, it evaporates and it goes in form of a gas. Then the stream water, river water, these all evaporates and change into a gas. I know one definition, so let me tell you about the definition. During evaporation, you can say the heat is absorbed by the water bodies. You can say you can basically say during evaporation, water warms the surface. No, you can say heat warms the surface of sun. Sun warms the surface of water bodies. The heat from the sun makes this water molecules move faster and faster until they move so fast that they escape as a gas. What is becomes a liquid, and then this liquid change into a gas. So this is a evaporation process. If you put a bucket of water or you throw water on the floor, you see it evaporates after some time when your mother turn on the fan or leave the water. So why? That's because you throw water, even though it becomes normal, because it gets evaporated by the clouds. One liquid state turned into a gas, it's called evaporation. So whenever we see a liquid that is going into a form of gas, that's called evaporation. If you see, we have water that goes in form, you have stream that change into a gas. So here again a liquid change into a gas. Evaporation, you can say examples. Water change from liquid state to gaseous state or vapors. So gaseous state, we can also say vapors, water vapors. If I put the clothes, if they are wet clothes, I hang them and in front of sun, so that they get the sun heat, they get evaporated and they become dry. You would have also seen your mother do like this. That's the best example. Water turns into steam. Wet floor is left to dry out, drying of wet hairs. Sometimes we use dryer, that also happens in form of a gas. We leave our hairs, and after some time we see they are by their own self they become, you can say by their own self they become cool, dry. And the best example is, have you ever seen nail polish remover? That is also a liquid. If you open the bottle of your nail polish remover and you leave it, you will see if the bottle is full it will become half, because it's a liquid, so it will turn into a gaseous situation. Okay, examples in everyday life, here you all can see the same examples that I told you. Ironing of wet clothes. After that, your clothes are steamed and ironed, so they become back, wrinkle free, and clean and clean. For whenever clothes are wet, we press them, and the stream that also comes from your iron. In Urdu we say कि istri se, you can say jhaag ne kari, that sort of things we used to say. So that is basically also a case of evaporation. Drying of wet clothes, that I gave the example. Condensation. So condensation is the second process of water cycle, or no, we're not discussing about water cycle but state change. And this, first of all, in evaporation a liquid changes into a gas, but in condensation a gas changes into a liquid. So let's see how does a gas change into a liquid. Condensation is a process by which water vapors are changed into a liquid water. Like in evaporation, we learned that the water changed into a gas, but here the water vapors, the gas change into a liquid. Let's see the examples. So when the gas turns into a liquid or cooling, it's called condensation. So when the gas changes into liquid, it's called a condensation. Water droplets on the outer surface of chilled water glass. You would have seen we put cold water. Whenever we could put cold water, it's something foggy inside and outside, and we can write anything on it that you have ever seen. So that is basically condensation, that a gas changes into a liquid surface. Then visible breath in cold weather. You have seen के in Urdu we say झाग बन रही है, or we say it like you can say air comes out of our mouth, and we enjoy that a lot in cold weather. Basically that's also condensation. Dew drops on plants, like in morning, as we know it does not actually rains, but in mornings in villages usually happens that we see whenever we visit our villages in morning, you see this thing that it rained, that in the early morning there are dew drops, little droplets present on the plants. That is basically also the same thing. Fog, that is around Lahore it has been captured. So fog is also a condensation when we can say gas comes into a liquid state, that makes a fog. Observe the two process. So what are two processes that are happening here? In this picture, what is happening, that the water, it is taking the water vapors, like it's going in form of a gas. The water is going in form of gas, that means evaporation is happening here. And secondly, condensation, how when the water will come back to the earth, it will be condensation. So define the following terms with examples. Evaporation, the process in which liquid turns into vapors, and examples of evaporation of sweat from the body. Drying of wet clothes. Condensation, the process in which gas turns into liquid on cooling, is called condensation. Example, cloud formation, visible breath in cold season. Then drying of evaporation is this evaporation of water, and condensation is a cold glass, water is condensed into warm air. So formation of water droplets on cold glass surface. Process in state conversion. Okay, so what is the process of state conversion? So heating process. What is the heating process? That is a temperature process, we can say. Heating process is basically a temperature process, a heat up process. Melting process, like when an ice cube melts, it's a liquid type process. Evaporation, as you all know, when a liquid changes into a gas. Cooling process is basically something that's over temperature. Freezing process, ice cube is freezed. Condensation, when a gas changes into a liquid. So these six process. Melting. When solid turns into liquid, it's called melting. Whenever solid turns into liquid, it's melting. If you see melting of ice cube, in ice cube what happened? There is a solid. If we put that outside, it turns into a liquid. Particle arrangement, how it's the structure of solids. First they are like this. After melting, they have a little bit space in them, like liquids and solids have. Melting of candle wax, you would have seen candle wax that melts also. Melting of ice cream, melting of snow that cause global warming. Freezing. So what is freezing? Melting is basically when solid changes to liquid. Freezing is when the liquid changes into solid on cooling. It's called freezing. Basically, like if I have water, I will put in the freezer, so it will become ice cube. That means it's due to freezing. Okay. Like formation of snow, first it's of water, all water, then it converts into snow. Water turns into ice whenever we put in freezer. Define the following terms with example. Melting, the process in which a solid changes to a liquid on heating is called melting, like melting of ice into water, melting of chocolate, melting of ice cream, that sort of things. Freezing, the process in which liquid changes into solid on cooling is called freezing. Water turns into ice, formation of snow. Then here this is melting of snow, and this is formation of snow, that is freezing. So guys, I hope you like today's lecture. See you in the next lecture. Till that, takes care. Allah Hafiz.